Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for To Your Eternity, chapter 155.85. That's right, including our little bonus extra 155, this is the fifth chapter 155 of To Your Eternity. But yeah, when we last left off, we focused largely on the conflict between Fushi and Mizuha's father. We see that her father has shot her grandpa, and he seems to be, like, mid-dying, but he's still alive, and Chami, who was originally kind of on the father's side, ends up, taking pity, I think, on the grandfather, and ends up trying to, like, get him out of the complex while Fushi fights the father. And Fushi, interestingly enough, declares that he's sort of taken an interest in Mizuha's father, for reasons I'm not entirely sure, and she starts asking him about, like, what was paradise like, finally getting kind of a question that's sort of been in the background ever since we made it to the modern era, and we found out these knockers have kind of returned from paradise, is what was that paradise like? And she builds this sort of, a replica of a house that feels kind of similar to the Nameless Boy's house, way back in Chapter 1. And Misa's father initially kind of protests amidst flashbacks of his own time with Izumi and Mizuha. Protests that this is what, like, makes everything terrible, I think is the exact line. Let me see if I can find the line real fast. Yeah, these are the things that lead to unhappiness. And then he sips from this bowl of soup and declares it delicious. So I'm still not entirely sure where exactly we're going with his character right now. But also, Yuki and the gang are still trying to make it out of the catacombs with Mizuha. It's a random little, like, one-page scene with him, but that's what's going on with them. So that said, let's jump right on into chapter 155.85, Trusting Heart, part 4/5, because again, there's the whole numbering confusion a while back. But anyway, we open in a flashback with what appears to be Yuki's parents. We brought you souvenirs, Yuki. And we see they're sort of, like, from an early age, so I'm assuming this is, like, when he was a kid, culturing this sort of fascination with the occult. We see this, like, sort of ziggurat in the background, like, Easter Island head. It looks like a baby Yeti, an alien on a box, like, a model of Saturn, it looks like. All sort of, like, flying saucer, or, like, I think that's meant to be the thing between the Yeti and the Easter Island head, I think is, like, the cryptid that, like, Mob and Reagan fought in, like, the first season finale of Mob Psycho, I think. But anyway, we then see his parents for the first time, and his father says, well, your mother and I have to get going. And little baby Yuki, holding on to the Yeti, okay, and Kazumitsu, who he's staying with, you're leaving already? Be careful out there. And they leave. We see their plane fly off into the sky, and we see Yuki. He put on a brave face as they were leaving, and he's still sort of, like, looking at all the sort of stuff that his parents got him. But he clearly is kind of choked up about their departure. And Kazumitsu shows him something on an iPad. Look here, Yuki. And it's like a video call, or like a recorded message, maybe, or either like a synchronous call or a voice message or something. Video message, I mean, from his parents. Hey, Yuki, have you been a good boy? And his father chimes in, no matter how far away we are, our hearts are always right there with you. And Yuki thinks about that. That memory of his parents giving him strength as he helps Mizuha out of the tunnels. But finally, even with that, the weight of carrying Mizuha all these many meters causes him to collapse. And Senba calls out, Vice President! And Hana, Yuki-kun! And as Hana and Tamaki pick up Mizuha and Senba picks up Yuki, Hana tells him, tell us if it's too much for you. Sheesh! And Yuki tells her, now's no time to be complaining. We've got to get back before sunset. And Hana just sort of gives this little, you're right. And I don't know what the deal with sunset is here until Yuki says, or we'll miss dinner. I get that a big part of Yuki's thing is trying to be sort of calm and and convinced that everything is okay, even when he's dealing with a sort of supernatural absurdity. But that's still just like, given everything he's gone through in the past, technically 5, but really like 20 chapters, that's just kind of a lot there. Even Hana calls that out. That's what you're worried about? But Yuki tells her, we're being tested. Tested? What we believe in, and how we'll act. And then we cut back to Tonari, still running away from the flaming puppet, and not really realizing the blood on her cheek yet. Yuki's narration goes on, but I believe. And we see Tonari like jumps out of the way of the puppet, who's just like completely on fire now. And we cut back to Yuki. If we've all got bodies, we can understand each other's pain. We can put ourselves in each other's shoes. Like, this is a very naive take, and I thought that when Yuki sort of played up this naivete in the past, I thought he was sort of in on the fact that it was like a ruse to distract Mizuha and Funa's knocker back in the day. But maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, Aiko calls in on the intercom. Tonari-san, we're good to go here. We're waiting for you on the roof. We're back with Tonari, by the way. Tonari acknowledges that, and I'm trying to see if we can like see the blood on her cheek, because I don't think Tonari's noticed it yet. But she climbs up the stairs. Roger that! The puppet right behind her. She sees this barricade. And Aiko calls out from behind it, up here! And then back in the sewers, Yuki finally sees the exit. Look! There's the exit! Aiko's not just behind the barricade, she's behind the door leading to the roof that's been like smashed in. And there's some kind of gas thing behind the barricade that's now spewing something. And Aiko calls, jump through! And she does. She makes it out. Right at the exact same time that the Occult Club is getting Mizuha through the bars of the sewer, Tonari looks back, she sees the flaming puppet. And I guess whatever gas Aiko produced causes the whole area to explode, maybe finally getting rid of the puppet. The girls are far enough away that they're not really impacted by it. They're like, they're swept up in the air of it. Their hair and like skirts fluttering, but beyond that, they're like fine. As the smoke clears, and they all 6 of them like breathe this sigh of relief. Hooray! It worked! We beat it! Is what they think. But we see a flaming body moving through the smoke. And Kasabe notes it first, as does Saki. Huh? And the puppet is still there, just on fire, but still coming for them. And the gang makes it out the other side, back with the sewers, to find themselves surrounded by the knocker cult. And, all of the cultists sort of look up at them with a sort of placid face, and Hana's just, huh? And Senba comments, oh, does this mean... And he finishes this line as we cut back to the girls, now completely out of options. We're not out of trouble yet. And that's where we leave off. No attention was made to Tonari's blood splatter. And, it may just be sort of... I'm looking at this final panel, which is really the only time in the whole chapter I think we get a shot of Tonari's, her right cheek, left from our perspective, where we... Oh, no, actually, we should see it on page 6. Looking at this bottom left panel, and the blood's gone. Maybe she wiped it off without thinking or something, not realizing that that's, like, knocker blood. I don't know. But I hope it's not just, like, being ignored, because that was a really great cliffhanger a few weeks ago, and I would hate to see that just be forgotten. But yeah, this chapter is really just... It's really short. It's only, like, 8 pages. And it really is kind of just, both Tonari's gang and Yuki's gang think that they're finally out of the woods, only to learn that no, Aiko's grand gas plan failed, and there's still plenty of cultists outside of the throne room for Yuki and the gang to deal with, and they're kind of out of options, like Fushi's a little busy doing whatever the hell he's doing Mizuha's father. Whatever she's doing, she's the redhead from Shinanda right now. But you know what I mean. Whatever she's doing with Mizuha's father, and so I don't think Fushi's really free to help out in either of these situations. And I don't even think Fushi left roots this far out, because if they're out of the sewers, Fushi only started with the roots inside the sewers, as I recall. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how the Occult Club is going to get out of this, but they're in a little less danger than Tonari's group, who have still failed to beat that puppet. But yeah, this is a chapter about, like, dashing everyone's hopes. It's kind of cruel, almost. We have this sort of... And it's interesting the chapter opens with this sort of, optimistic Yuki. We're being tested, what we believe in and how we'll act, but I believe we all got bodies. We can understand each other's pain. We can put ourselves in each other's shoes. And that's followed up, like, the next page is continuing on with that more hopeful energy. So it feels like that monologue's hope is being tied with the hope that the Tonari gang can beat the puppet, singular, and that the Occult Club is going to make it out of the sewers, and both of those plans fail. So it feels kind of like a counterpoint to Yuki's optimism as how this chapter goes, which I don't know. We'll see how all this plays out next week when maybe we finally get to 156, or maybe we'll have 155 part 6. I don't fucking know. But yeah, not a whole lot of progress here, just sort of continuing to up the stakes as, all of that hope is kind of smashed in a single moment. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!